your vocation, your calling, it starts with the beginning of you.
This generation tends to think of vocation in the true sense of how it came from the Christian community, the word vocare, and it has the idea of calling. And I think that this, right now, college-age people are thinking about it, a job and that kind of deal in the true sense of a vocation, in the sense of what's that thing I'm supposed to be doing. And they don't want to head in the wrong direction, so they don't head in any direction. And so there's this new pressure with the generation that prior generations didn't really go through that process. They looked at it in more of a remunerative way, like I just need to do what I need to do to pay my bills and take care of my responsibilities. So I don't know if it's any more or less important, but it seems like internally, the internal pressures that this generation is putting on it is far greater.
I think there's a pressure maybe, and it's a cultural pressure as well as kind of a internal kind of developed pressure to be successful. Like that's always been a part of the American culture is, you know, you should be successful, you should try your hardest, you should work as hard as you possibly can to be successful. So I think that a lot of students feel that pressure on themselves, but they also feel pressure to change the world at the same time. So if someone is just going to graduate and with a degree and get a job that might be in that degree and get married, buy a house, have a child, that doesn't seem like it's enough anymore. They can't just work at a nonprofit. They need to start a nonprofit and, you know, start some sort of radical revolution in order to live a meaningful life. So I feel like there's pressure, cultural and self-induced, to be something really important and do something really important, which is, I think, too bad, because I think it's taking away from the reality of being able to do something meaningful on a micro level.
There's a tremendous amount of weight on something that's really hard to nail down. The idea of vocation, you know, I come from the Midwest. My father was a gunsmith, and so I grew up watching my dad pursue making and repairing and creating. You know, he would manufacture the receivers and barrels and all that kind of part of the gun, but then the artwork of doing checkering and the sculpting of the stock and all that. This is his vocation. Is that a heavenly calling? This is what he was really taking seriously and doing as best as he could as a believer. So, but I think, you know, if he was like, I really feel like I've been called to make excellent shotguns. I don't know, it just kind of gets goofy.
So I definitely think a biblical sense of calling is vitally important. Not just any kind of calling, but if we're talking about the church and like that sense that God really has called me, and often I'm going to know that sense of calling in the context of community. So if I'm simply doing it remotely, individualistically, there's going to be a huge problem there. And I think that for myself, for others, to see ourselves as called by God in relationship to a community is so vitally important today.
Because there's an obsession with the goal. We're goal-oriented. I want to get my degree, right? And my degree will get me to the next goal. I just need to get there, I need to get there, I need to get there. And in doing so, we're looking for where is there, right? Where's the place I'm supposed to get to? As long as I know where that is, man, I'm working with college students and that kind of thing, thinking about my own life. When I'm 18 years old, I don't know where I'm going. I worked on golf courses for 4 years, and I'm like, if I don't go to college, I will die. So I'll go to college, and then what will I do? I don't know. I hated working at the grocery store, so I won't go into grocery stores. I loved working at the golf course. I guess I'll just go into turf grass science at Madison, Wisconsin. And I didn't really, I put so much weight on that decision. This is make it or break it at the end of my life. Do I want to do this forever?
I think you're always given the impression that you're going to arrive somewhere. You know, people are saying you're doing this so that you can get to blah blah blah, whatever career it is. And as we think about vocation, well, yeah, you have to do prep work, you have to lay the foundation at some point. It's not like that isn't a part of the foundation, and it's not like what you're doing at any point isn't a part of that journey and a part of that vocation. Because I can see absolutely how every step has been building on top of something else to get me to the spot that I am, and I don't see myself having arrived by any means. I would push back on pressures to feel like you have to make any hard and fast decision for the rest of your life. I think there are scenarios like that where that's the case, but rarely is that the whole picture.
Well, if it's the case, and it is the case, that Jesus is the eternal truth of God in flesh, then we need to see that He, as the very Word of God through whom all things were created, presents truth in a variety of spheres, not just in the Bible or in the context of the church, but as Lord over all creation, as the Word of creation through whom all things are made. We're going to find that there's truth in a wide variety of spheres. All truth is God's truth, as Art Holmes of Wheaton College once said, a philosophy professor. And so in the realm of science and technology, in the realm of the arts, we should be seeking to create, we should be seeking to develop and integrate all that into the sphere of the church. In terms of their calling, how does that get integrated in terms of the life and the service, the ministry of the church? Not just within the walls of the church, but as missional witnesses outside the church, as the church gets outside of its own doors.
You know, what has God placed in front of you today? And walk faithfully in that, you know? And I also try to help people understand, like, oftentimes we put this weird pressure, like, what is God gonna call me to for the rest of my entire life? When the reality is for some of us, we need to think about, well, am I even being faithful with what He's given me today? And if I'm not, then why would He ever reveal to me what I'm gonna be doing for the entire life, my entire life? First, it's today. And am I being faithful with what He's called me to be and do today? And I find that when we are focused on that, we kind of become more content. And we're far less concerned about what's tomorrow. And we're even less concerned about pursuing comforts for tomorrow because we're so focused on being faithful today.
Vocation is how we live today, more than the discovery of some kind of predestined job or ministry.
Trust in God, be faithful on the campus that you're on. Stay connected to the local church. Seek intimacy with God personally, and seek to be faithful today. And just relax.